This is Plastic Adventures.
Hey everybody, this is Steve, and that is Doug with the Plastic Adventures toy community. And long time no see, no duh. Sometimes things
No
just come up.
duh.
We don't have a chance to get together and do this, but we're actually kind of coming off of the heels of the New York Toy Fair, which did have some pretty cool stuff. I think that we're going to cover. Not going to do it all, obviously, because
Too much.
if you are us, if we are the audience, then holy cow, it's going to be 8 o'clock in bedtime soon.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
What
no
time is it
doubt.
now, youngin? No, there
No,
was a lot of stuff covered. I'm super excited about the G.I. Joe reveals and some other things. So yeah, let's get into it.
yeah, and after actually some post Toy Fair things that I thought were really interesting and cool. So, let's get the really big one out of the way because
Okay.
I we haven't talked about it, but I almost guarantee it's your big one from the show too. Got to be Mask, right?
Oh, like a tear to my eye mask because it's so beautiful.
Holy cow. Um, we had discussed this before, and when Loyal Subjects got the licensing rights for this, we're like, dude, how in the holy F are they gonna come up with these toys like the originals with all of the tooling? They're all unique. The
Mhm.
cost to start up alone is gonna be insane, and how are they gonna scale these back? Or do those assets still exist and we're gonna get reissues of the
Well,
original molds?
I'm thinking, so when you compare the pictures that were shown from the Toy Fair to the vintage ones, not the figures themselves, but the vehicles at least, they almost looked one for one.
They did. And I am about 99% positive that I heard it's all brand new tooling.
What? Really?
Yep.
That's actually amazing because they
Yeah, there
look
are
very
some
close.
very, very subtle differences. They showed some close-ups of the prototype Condor and a vintage Condor, and I'm pretty sure that it's all brand new tooling. They did reveal price points, so you're going to be out $40 for Condor. I think it's 50 for Thunderhawk, like 70-ish for Switchblade, and about 100 for Rhino. So
That's
um,
about right in today's prices.
yeah, adjusted for inflation and just a teeny tiny bit, considering that this is ultra niche market, not
Yeah,
like on the shelves at your major retailers yet.
right.
Um, that is absolutely something else. They have the same exact. Actually, they say they've talked about how they improved the mechanisms over the original.
Oh,
So
that's good.
your old toys wore out pretty quick. I'm talking to you, those doors on Thunderhawk. Yeah, yeah.
They're literally flapping wings. If you went like this, the doors would go.
Yeah, and the spoiler that raises up on the back,
Oh,
it
that
never
would
went down all
slowly.
the way. Yeah,
Hmm.
never went down and covered
The jet exhaust
the
engines.
jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of little things they're doing to improve. The figures are looking spectacular. They've now got ball joints at the shoulders and the hips.
Yep.
The masks look great. There's paint apps. I think there's paint apps on their faces now.
I couldn't tell. Are they articulated at the joint at the waist, or are they still one waist? One.
It didn't look like it to me. It looked
Okay.
like think 25th anniversary Joes, but without the weird articulation cut there.
Okay.
Just one solid body. You probably got a little tree with a couple of ball joints at the
Right.
hips where the legs socket in, and then the shoulders are ball jointed, so that's freaking cool too.
Absolutely.
And they're in that original mask figure scale, so
But that's the other thing I was going to say. So the vehicles look like they were one for one. So the figures are definitely still in that 2 inch scale.
yeah, yeah. And I was just so astounded when I saw those. I couldn't believe that a company like Loyal Subjects, who has to pay the rights to license this stuff,
Mhm.
was gonna like, you know, uh,
Well, they must think they're going to get their monies back, and I bet you they are.
yeah. The only thing that was kind of missing off of those protos that we saw at the toy show was Vac Metal,
Mhm.
and I don't know if we're gonna get it or not. But other than that, Wow, what an
It
incredibly awesome and pleasant surprise that was to see those.
did they show the packages?
No,
Okay.
but they're saying that the packages are going to be very accurate to vintage.
Okay.
It'd be sweet if they reused original packaging art, to be honest with you.
People would not be upset.
Hasbro, I don't know if they've lost it or what, but they've redone a little bit over the years, and you can kind of tell on some of them. But if they can figure out how to use those original like painted box art from the 80s, that line it just rocks, dude.
It
That like
does. It's really cool.
and like so much other stuff kind of came and went, and I just kept coming back to those figures, thinking how freaking awesome that they were.
Yeah. It's gonna be nice to have them again. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the packages look like. Because we're big package display nerds. So I'm really pretty excited about seeing what those are.
Yeah, and I'll honestly say that unlike some of the Transformers stuff, I have a really good mask collection as it is, and most of them are in really good shape. So, maybe Thunderhawk kind of tempts me to purchase just to have like the box. But then who knows what kind of a gateway purchase that is.
You know what it
Rhino's
is.
box art looks cool too.
You can
But
already
yeah,
see it building.
really, really awesome. Was there anything that caught your eye in particular from Toy Fair?
Um, there was more Masters of the Universe reveals, I think.
Yeah.
Um, that looked pretty interesting to me. Um, what was one of them? It was
Well, how about that He-Man and Skeletor two-pack that are done
yeah.
vintage
Okay,
style?
yeah. So they're not jointed like Origins.
Yeah.
So the only difference I think that's going to be between those ones and the vintage are the hip joints. They're not. I don't think they're going to be rubber.
Oh, okay. I thought I had read something where they were going to put the bands in them, but it
Really?
would be smart if they didn't, to be honest. Don't put the rubber bands in. But they got torsion springs, the waist twist battle punch action. That is so freaking rad.
Yeah. It's those are made because Origins has kind of blown up and a lot of people collect it, which is really cool. I'm super happy about that. But I think they're going back to these pre-Origin ones to as a thank you for people like you and I for keeping that brand alive for so long that we get our original He-Man and Skeletor.
Yeah, like best as we can tell, this is just going to be a one-off deal. Like it's going to be He-Man and Skeletor. They do have some very slight additional paint apps in. I saw them with a white background for renders, and they
Hmm.
looked really, really. Um, they stood out a lot. Like Skeletor's getting some highlights on his suit, and I think we're going to be able to see the ends of his toes now.
Oh.
And He-Man's boots are getting a little bit of a different paint deco in the renders.
Mhm.
But when they showed the figures, the protos that were there, you couldn't, they were like almost indistinguishable from original Masters of the Universe figures. So,
Yeah.
um,
Those are pretty cool. Did it say when they were going to go on pre-order, or do we not know yet?
I don't
Just
know.
later this year?
I think they did reveal a couple of other like Origins figures there, like Hero, I think got shown there. And they're now doing this Masters Collector Club thing again through the
Yes, they are.
website
Which
where
no, there's not a lot of people that are pretty happy about this right now, about that particular thing.
Well, I mean, all it's going to do is just lock everybody out and wreck their chances of getting these online exclusives because the people are going to go on there and set their bots up to where they just
Right.
suck up all the inventory and the crap will be sold out in 30 seconds and 5 minutes later eBay will be flooded with it for like 6 times the price. So,
And it's not
uh,
worth it. To me, it's not.
no, unless they're going to really make an effort like they did with some do you remember like Wondar, right?
Hmm.
He comes out, he sells out immediately, and then Mattel comes back with, second and third refreshes. And
Yeah.
by the time we got to the end of it, that's now like pretty plentiful on eBay, 30 to 40 bucks, which is about what it would have cost you to buy it and then have it shipped to you. So,
Hmm.
if they can kind of keep that sort of thing up, then, you know, more power to them. What really worries me the most is I so freaking want an Origins laser power He-Man
Yes.
and Laser Light Skeletor. And I want Origins movie He-Man and Skeletor.
Yes. And I swear to this day I remember some reading somewhere that was on the list of figures that they wanted to put out.
Yeah, we talked about it, man, like many, many moons ago. It broke in the news cycle, and we had kind of had a discussion about it. I think they revealed Blade for Masterverse there,
Hmm.
which is
Yep.
that's a
That's a
freaking
great.
sexy figure, man.
Yeah. Waited a long time for this.
Oh man, for this one, yeah, like the Super 7 did a great one, but this one is so far. I do think that Mattel's Masterverse figures have all been better except for He-Man.
Mm.
And I might have something coming around in another couple of weeks that I ordered from Ramen Toys that could fix that for us.
Oh
But
boy.
they did a couple of head sculpts, right? Of these Dolph-like head sculpts, and you get a 2-pack, and you get one that's meant to go with your Origins figures, and one that's meant to go on your Masterverse figure.
Nice.
And it was not terribly expensive, and they are painted and like ready to rock and roll. So when
Right
they
on.
come, I'll make sure to show them off. But we could salvage that Derp Lundgren movie
Dirk
He-Man
Lundgren.
figure yet.
Right on,
So
right
yeah,
on.
that was cool. I mean, we had some great reveals there. Didn't Hasbro show off the new Star Wars retros there?
They did.
Yeah,
And those are ones I know that went on pre-order and I missed them. I missed them. Woohoo. I'll find them somewhere, I'm sure. But I didn't get them, but I know that you and our other friend locally, you guys were able to get your pre-orders in, so that's
I
awesome.
did not order them.
Oh, I thought you did. I thought you said you got them.
No, I was on the fence about it because my problem is that I just, behind me, I have 4 little pegs and I have so many retros now. If that makes it to Target, like most of the other sets have, I might. I
Yeah.
might just because it's like so historic to get that Luke and get the finally Han as a stormtrooper. You get the Rebels troop. You finally get a Sand Trooper.
Yep.
You get you get Dr. Burgess Meredith voiced guy. He doesn't like you either. Like you get him. And then you get Walrus Man, who looks like he swallowed a midget head first and his ass is stuck out of his mouth. But like so Walrus Man's the only disappointment, like not a
Well,
brand new
what's
figure, but
great
he's
about
essential to the collection, right?
well, what I was going to say was what's great about this wave is it's kind of a reverse of the ones that we've been getting, where we've been getting a whole bunch of figures that we've already had in vintage, and then one figure that we should have got a long time ago. Well, now it's swapped, where we got the one figure that we got a long time ago, and now we got 5 new figures that we should have gotten. So I'm I missed the pre-order. I'm hoping that I'll find them somewhere somehow. But they're definitely super wonderful and they're going to look
Yeah.
good on anybody's shelf. I know it.
I was really happy to see that. That was another one because they've now released several of these packs that I just didn't bite on. Not the episode 1 retros, not the episode 2, 3 retros.
Yeah, I didn't do
Um,
those either.
Most definitely didn't get. I think there was a series of retros for the oh gosh, what was the one that everybody's trying to forget from Netflix with the Jedi sensitive twins?
Oh, the
The
Acolyte.
Acolyte, yes. That was so hard to slog through that.
Yeah, so much so that even you just forgot all about it.
Dude, like, and I'm so forgiving. Like, I love the sequels, uh, but that was just so rotten. Like, you can only watch it for the one bad guy for so long, and then you can't watch anymore. But
Yeah. But
anyways,
I do love anytime there's an original trilogy kind of figure, especially when they do it in the retro style. So yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that was just super awesome to see those.
Yeah, so
Uh,
I know you posted in Facebook the GI Joe classified reveals.
oh yes, very recently,
Yeah,
here they go again,
with
and they took a
really good
goofy
ones.
color scheme like Blowtorch and made it effing rad.
Yes,
Uh,
there
they
was
took
Footloose. which I'm excited to get. Footloose is
Great
a good
looking
one.
figure, yes. And Snake Eyes version 4, which is also bright and goofy and made him look super awesome.
Yeah, so they gave him a grappling hook, but they didn't give him his orange katanas, man. Come on.
I was just gonna ask if they had that weird like orange pistol bazooka machine
No, the
gun.
the gun actually does look like it, and it does have like a red streak. So it's got a kind of a small callback to it. But yeah, I mean, I was really kind of fond of his reddish orange blades.
I bought it when I was a kid,
Yep.
but like that's when I alluded in the sharing time episode that your Lifeline figure looked like a piece of candy. That's those figures were all like brightly yeah, like he looks like he should taste like peppermint. Uh, Snake Eyes, like they just had these colors that were so goofy. And Blowtorch was one of those weird exceptions in the original line where he was red, bright red and yellow,
hmm
and the rest of it was so subdued and still so like military oriented and but like they made that character super rad. I like Barbecue a lot better than Blowtorch from a design perspective, but um that was just so good to see. And
Oh
Crystal
yeah.
Ball looked
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and that's saying something, right? So,
Yeah.
because Crystal Ball looked like a I don't know what he looked like in he didn't look great, that's for sure. Uh,
Well, he with that mustache, it's just like the sort that has the van,
yes,
you know,
exactly.
with no windows at the park.
And did you see he came with like this alternate green head?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know if that's supposed to be an effect like when he's hypnotizing people, but if you were to just look at the figure and like he's a Cobra hypnotist or whatever his gimmick is, he looks like he'd spend more time hypnotizing himself with the
Yeah.
shield than anybody else, right?
Trying
Uh,
trying to get his gimmick right.
but
Let's
did
think
you see what they
about
did with the name? I don't remember Crystal Ball's original bio because I think it was written by Stephen King.
Oh, it
But
was. It was he was the seventh brother of a seventh brother or something weird like that, which
yeah,
gave him
now
this insight.
I think that Crystal Balls, you know how they do these things when they don't have the copyright anymore. So it's like Richard Grunt Sherman or whatever it's
Mhm.
going to be. Well, his is something like Richard Crystal Ball King. And I'm just
Dick
wondering if
King?
Stephen King's kid is named Richard. Uh, but it's a callback there. So I thought that was just a really neat thing that
Right.
they did.
Yeah, there's not going to be any fun jokes about that name. Did you see
Oh,
that
right.
they
I just got it. Yeah. I thought I was 12. Why didn't I get that right off the
Why?
bat?
Did you see the green shirt one that they showed?
Frick, yeah, I did.
Yeah,
That's the retro card green shirt, and it looks super awesome.
it does. It looks really cool. So it was really the other good thing about it is they've got the alternate head and hands, so
Yeah.
you can have a black action figure or you can have a white action figure, which is really really kind of cool to kind of build up that army.
Yeah, if you're gonna army build, that's freaking awesome, dude. I love it. I
Yeah,
love that. Uh,
absolutely.
I think they revealed the diving team from the Mass device too.
They did, and that thing sold out within a second and a half. It was gone. It was gone. But the other cool reveal that I'm kind of excited about is the MMS, the GI Joe MMS with
Yes.
Hawk.
Yeah, dude, Hawk, the green shirt Hawk, and he looks
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah. So I'm pretty excited. Anytime they come out with a green shirt, anything, I am 100% on board with it. That is quintessential at the heart of GI Joe is the green shirt look. And so if we getting a green shirt Hawk is like we're getting a step closer to completing our OG-13 classified
Yeah,
series
and
green
it's just a
shirts.
matter of time because they did that thing with rock and roll, like where he split. The figure looked really good, but then they're making the retro carded rock and roll, who's like
Yes,
all in,
100% all in. So yeah, the GI Joes were some pretty good reveals. I was, like I said,
dude, the snake
classified kind
armor.
of can't lose right now.
Yeah, that snake armor.
Oh, that sold out.
Oh yeah, right. Uh, that thing is Do you know that thing's got to be huge?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're considering we got our 6-inch figure, which sits in it like a vehicle. It's not
Yeah,
like arm, it like sits in this thing. So that means that if we have a 6-inch figure, that means this thing's got to be at least this big.
yeah, it's got to be like 10 or 11 inches tall.
Yeah.
That's and it looks so awesome. It's so much better than like that weird sarcophagus look of the vintage one,
I
at
love the
the
vintage one, but yeah, I agree.
I do too. I do too. But the original vintage, you could put a figure in it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's what it was
Yeah.
for.
And it had the rubber bands that ran and kind of like held everything together, or it had like the
No, it
rubber.
didn't have rubber bands, so it was all pressure put together. And then when you didn't have a figure in it, you kind of had this like two-legged T-bar thing that went in, and then the legs attached to it. So you could have it without a figure or with a figure. So sometimes most people they don't have that little bar that goes across, so they just put a beater figure in there to kind of hold it all together.
Yeah.
But yeah, this does not look like it's going to have that problem.
No way, dude. This classified snake armor looks scary as hell.
It does.
But man, these vehicles getting the love, I'm really into that. When are we getting the Skyhawk in classified?
Oof. I've seen some people do some really good 3D printing of some that they've made on their own, which if those look cool, I can't imagine what Hasbro's got around the corner if they're actually going to do that. So,
Yeah, that'd be pretty rad. It's really still very exciting to be a classified collector and a fan.
yep, yep. Um, can we talk about one of the things that we mentioned in our previous show?
Yeah. Oh, we really need to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Sad day.
So, like I said, McFarlane is killing it with being as close to the GI Joe classified line as I can consider perfect for action figures. But then the rug the gets pulled out from underneath us on it, right?
Yeah, it
So,
was pretty sad news. Mattel just kind of languished with the DC license.
mhm.
Some of the stuff was okay, and they did. I think Mattel probably had a better cross section of weird figures. Um, but and they had some 4-inch figures that were like DC Universe or whatever that was, and they had a Chris Reeve Superman and I mean those are the first in a long time. Well, the first to ever get Chris Reeve Superman and Michael Keaton Batman in 4-inch scale. But they've struck up a deal, so DC is back with Mattel starting next year. I know people complained that we got a lot of Batman figures from McFarlane
We
and a
did,
lot
but
of
that's fine.
Superman. It's okay, like because they had the Lobos and they had the great movie versions of these figures that McFarlane killed. And as far as I'm concerned, what we're now going to see is Marvel Legends size figures that are going to cost the same and come with like nothing and have a third of the paint apps from
Yeah,
Mattel.
yeah.
Unless something really wild happens with Mattel and
And they go in a
they
completely
have,
different direction than they used to.
yeah, maybe they can get the Four Horsemen to come in and do some sculpting on the lines,
Oof.
because those guys were are still outstanding. But yeah, it's done at the end of the year, and I don't know if that means that these Marvel statues that McFarlane's been working on are going to quit too. Just saw a great Jim Lee Punisher that is a static pose
So
Marvel.
does it mean that McFarlane then will be done? Like, or are they just going to be able to like have other figures in the McFarlane line? We won't see DC McFarlane, but will McFarlane be done altogether?
Well, I think that what we're going to see is it's going to be a lot more obscure licenses that McFarlane takes on. So they're going to like they're doing Mortal Kombat figures and um I wouldn't be at all surprised to see more Spawn stuff coming
Hmm.
than what is already coming. He's got those sports figures that are really really good. It's like McFarlane 2.0. So they're diversified, but I mean DC wipes a huge chunk. Uh I have a real difficult time believing that he's going to get the license to do Marvel figures because Hasbro's got like a chokehold on that, and they're doing really
Yeah.
good. And like they're not terrific, but most of the Marvel Legends figures are still pretty good.
Yeah.
You know, like they're good figures. The paint apps are really good. The sculpting is really good. So
The only thing
uh,
I would say about the Marvel Legends is that they don't scale well with all of the rest of the figures out there. They kind of feel a little shorter than the rest of them. So if you were to put, your Marvel characters next to your McFarlanes and next to your Classifieds, they're like almost a half of a head shorter than all the rest of them. So they don't
yeah,
quite scale right.
they should be the same scale as classified, but I know what you're saying. They've kind of, dialed it back on those figures. McFarlane, that my big gripe is that it's 7 inches and it is out of scale with all the other superhero figures because you put them next to Marvel figures and they dwarf the Marvel figures, but
Mhm.
they're just so damn good. You can't not buy some of them.
I know, I know.
But
But that that
uh,
that that is kind of sad news for us because they have given us some very very good figures.
I'd love to see him jump into more movie stuff. Maybe we can finally get some Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer figures. Highlander, some of the stuff that, especially with Henry Cavill being involved in the new Highlander movie, it gives me
Mhm.
hope that we're going to actually get like more than one Connor McLeod figure ever released ever that was from Fig Biz and was like a here and gone,
Yeah,
and they're not that good. Uh,
it's hopeful. That's what I mean. I hope that McFarlane stays around because what they have for their process, for the detail that they have for the figures, everything is good. So if even if you take DC away from it and put in another property, hopefully McFarlane stays around and keeps creating these really, really good action figures.
I think they will. I'm pretty sure they're going to surprise us and have some licenses that they've picked up. They do too good of a job for collectors to not still be in the mix. But yeah, and then DC will finally get pissed off at Mattel when they put their crap figures out again, and maybe make the switch in another 2 or 4 years or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. Go.
So yeah, sucks to be a McFarlane fan if you love their DC stuff, but that's life as we know it. They'll be back.
I hope
But
so.
well, looks like we probably got to wrap this thing up. We've been a little bit long-winded, so in those closing seconds, once again, thank you all for joining us. You can find Doug over on Instagram, the Toy Man 80s with those little hyphens at the
Underscores.
bottom, underscores. Yes, and Steve over at the Plastic Adventures Toy Community on Facebook. Like, subscribe, comment, tell us we're right. Hate McFarlane, love McFarlane. And if you don't, we'll see you in the toy aisle.
Bye, everyone.